This is Malcolm341. In today's video, we're going to look at a free update to the UV Mapping Toolbox. I've added UV shell grouping and some other useful features, so let's check it out. Okay, so to get to the UV Mapping Toolbox or the UV Mapper, if you own the full Megascript pack, is just come up here and click this icon here to launch the tool. So the first new thing in this update is I have updated the help file actually. So if you click the click here for help button, it opens this window, and I've just made this like a little bit easier to read. This tool is getting kind of complex compared to all the other tools. So I went through and I looked at how to make the help file more useful. So now I've got these kind of capitalized categories for each button in the tool, and then a description of what that tool actually does. So this should be easier to navigate, easier to look at. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there'll be links for all of the YouTube videos that you need to learn this tool, including this video that we're watching right now. Okay, so more important than that, I have added this new feature which I'm calling UV shell grouping, and this is the most requested thing that people ask me on this whole channel. People are always asking, how can I choose which UV shells in the UV layout stack and which don't? Like they want to manually tag certain shells to stack on top of each other and leave other shells to just like auto pack using the Maya packing algorithm. And Maya's default layout tool provides a tick box which says stack shells, but unfortunately that stacks all similar shells, and that's not very useful for the games industry because you only want to stack certain shells. Okay, so I've got this weird, funky model here I made just so we can demonstrate the tool. I've just got some like busted UVs on here. So first I'm just going to do a planar map along Y, and then I'm just going to do a layout to get that all into 0 to 1. And now what Maya offers by default, which is, pretty much useless. There's going to be a couple times when we want to use it, is you can turn on the stack feature. I've built the stack feature into my tool as well. Turn on stack and click the button, and you'll see all the similar shells, they stack on top of each other. But this is not going to help us because nobody wants that, and no one is going to ship a game model with all this like wasted space in it. It's just not going to happen. So first I'm just going to turn stack back off and just layout again just to get back to where we were. So how the grouping works is you choose one of these groups here, select some components, choose a group and add it to the group. And then when you do layout, it's going to do all the regular layout stuff, but it's going to try to keep that group together. It's going to try to stack on top of itself. It's still going to use the Maya like layout algorithm or whatever, but it's going to try to stack the shells that you tell it to on top of each other. So I find it easiest to work in UV mode because the tool for the groups will actually expand to the shell. So you only need to select one component on the shells. So if I want to stack these like 3 circles, I can just grab something like this, or I can just go 1, 1, and 1. And then I'm going to add that to group 1. It's going to highlight them in face mode to tell me that that just became a new group, but it's actually going to leave me in UV mode. So see, I'm still in UV mode, ready to like keep working. Now, if I lay out UVs, watch this. Boom, those actually stay on top of each other, but look what happened here. All of this stuff repacked and relayed out and like kept all of these settings and kept all of these settings. And this is super valuable because even just spacing your UV shells out is a major pain after you've hand packed stuff because you don't really know what 8 pixels in. You can kind of zoom in and try to do it by eye, and it's just a huge nightmare, and it like wastes all your time. I wish that I would have had this feature for many, many years. It would have helped me out so much when I was unwrapping props and other stuff that had partial stacks. So moving along, we can say, like, let's add these 2 rectangles. Select one component there. We'll add those to group 2. It highlights to tell me it's going to go in group 2. Let's do a layout. Okay, those guys are stacked on top of each other. But, oh no, okay, I want to also add this guy because I want to group those as well. So the grouping is exclusive. You need to select a component from each shell before you click the group button. Otherwise, it's only going to add that one shell, for example. So it would get rid of the 2 and add the 1. So I have to select something here and then grab something from here. You don't have to do this in UV mode either. You can do it in face mode if you wanted to. So those 2 are going to be the new group. So I'm going to say add to group 2 and layout. And boom, those guys are overlapping. And then, okay, sure, let's just add the squares to group 3. So group 3, blah, 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 overlap, click. Okay, cool. So it's doing everything correctly. So I'm just going to grab a bunch of these guys and we'll go add to group 4, let's say. Layout, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And that stuff's all repacking around it. You can even change like this stuff and do a relayout. So it's all procedural and it's all interactive. You're not losing any work and committing to one thing or another as you go, because at any time you could come into here and select one component from a group. And if you click clear, that will clear everything in that group. So I'm going to clear that and do a layout. And you can see those then procedurally go back into the pack and they kind of pack with everything else. So if I wanted to say add all of these guys into whatever the group was, group 4, right? So that was group 4. Yeah. And then layout. Boom. So it's fully kind of interactive, which is super helpful in my opinion. So here, I'm just going to clear this guy as well. Clear that out, layout, and then it's kind of back in the mix or whatever. Now, at any time, you can click clear all to just fully reset all the groups back to 0. Click that, layout, and then everything's kind of back to 0. And we can start again here. So let's go 1, sure, whatever, 2, 3, click, and then let's add some stuff here. That would be 4. You can go 1 through 20, so you have 20 groups. Click it. There we go. Now, if you forget what group has what object in it, which happens to me quite a bit actually after things have started moving around, is you can turn on this little select tick box, and that changes the group buttons from grouping things into selecting what is in that group. So when select is on and I click 1, it tells me, oh, that's what's in number 1. And if I click 2, that's what's in number 2. 3, that's what's in number 3. The cool thing is it doesn't matter if I screw up this pack because it's procedural. So when I relay out, it's going to go back to the same spot. And then what's in 4? Oh, okay, that's in 4. And then what's in 5? Nothing's in 5. So if I wanted to start another group, let's say these guys, I know that 4 is those. So I'm going to select these ones and I'm going to turn that off. And I'm going to say add to 5. Layout, and boom, there you get a stack, and then some free ones. So it's quite flexible actually. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't accidentally want to add something of 2 different shapes to the same group. So if I were to add these shells plus these shells, both to group 1, let's say, it's fine, it'll work, but the layout that you're going to get is wonky. See, it doesn't know what to do because they're not the same shape. So you'll get some weird overlap. But that's okay. You can just clear out that group. So select whatever, any one component from that group, clear it, lay it out, and then just add those guys back to 1 and lay out again and continue on. Oh, okay, I don't know what's left, what shells are still open. So you can go 1, 2, 2's got something in it, 3 doesn't have anything in it, 4 has something, and 5 has something. So what was it, 3? Yeah, 3 is still available. So if we go here, can add these guys to 3, or we could add them to anything down here. I recommend going 1 through 20 just so it's a little bit easier to remember. But you could also add them straight to group 20 and then do a layout, and then you get the same result. What's also really cool is it doesn't matter what you have selected in the UV editor, layout will always work. Whether you're in object mode or component mode with no components selected, or even in component mode with some components selected. For example, if I were to just grab this and just move it out of the way or whatever, if I just had some random stuff selected and I click layout, it just works. If I had some random faces selected and I click layout, it just works. So whenever you click this, you don't have to fiddle with the component mode or the object mode or making sure that your stuff is selected correctly. It will always lay out the UVs as if it's in object mode, which I find super handy. On top of that, I've also integrated the find shells less than % from the light mapping toolbox. So I don't want to select these all by hand because this is a nightmare trying to get all these. So I can use the find shells less than %. So 0 to 1 being the 1%. So anything kind of less than 1%, it's going to select. So I'm just going to click the button and see what happens. And it's going to grab all of these. It grabbed these ones, which I didn't want. So I can lower this number to 0.9 or whatever. And if you press enter here, it'll rerun the tool. You don't have to click the button each time. So I'm just going to press enter. And then it deselected that stuff, which is good. It's still grabbing those. So, you can just keep kind of interactively lowering the number and see what happens. Deselected that, which is good. So let's just go aggressive here and we'll go back up. Okay, great. So it deselected that. So what did I get? Did I get everything I needed? Yeah, so I actually got exactly what I needed, probably minus these. I'm just going to deselect these manually. It's never going to be perfect, but that just saved me a ton of time compared to having to go in, zoom in, and like grab all that stuff. And that's it. Hopefully, everybody enjoys the new features and it speeds up everyone's work quite a bit. If you've already purchased the Mega Script Pack, the UV Mapping Pack, or the single script, this will be a free update, so you just need to download the same file again from your original email link to get the new stuff. If you haven't purchased the script yet, you can grab the script by itself in the UV Mapping Pack, or you can get it in the Mega Script Pack, so take your pick. Thanks very much for watching this video. Without viewers like you, this channel would not exist. If you like this video and enjoy the channel, please support me by purchasing something from the online store. Each purchase goes towards creating more video content and keeps the channel ad-free. See you next time. Have a spectacular day.